Okay, my friends, pleasant good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. And those of you who are locked on, those of you who have been anticipating our program, Hardfacts. My friends, I want to take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you all to our program here today. This is our Wednesday program. And we are live, my friends, those of you who are locked on. We are live from Sentinel Media Broadcasting. This is your program, Hardfacts. I am your host, Imam Rashid Karim. And my friends, I am here on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays bringing you relevant information that will make a difference when it comes to representation, when it comes to different agencies, when it comes to the infrastructure of our country, be it crime, be it, things like electricity, things like water, and all those things that is affecting Trinidad and Tobago and the citizens of our country. My friends, we are here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays highlighting the issues of the day. My friends, again, as you all would have realized, that the election fever is over, and at this point in time, Trinidad and Tobago, you have a new government, and that is the government of the United National Congress led by the Honorable Kamla Persad Bissessa. My friends, again, we would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the Prime Minister of the country and her members of cabinet, those persons who have been given relevant positions. And again, when we look at the day-to-day reports that is coming in, we are seeing the anomalies now being highlighted. For example, Trinidad and Tobago, you are seeing problems with the Ministry of Health, you are seeing problems with the Ministry of Education, you are seeing problems with the Ministry of Transport, you are seeing problems with the Whitehall, the Office of the Prime Minister, and so forth. So again, today in our program, we're going to highlight some of the issues that is really and truly prevalent and is taking precedence in our country, Trinidad and Tobago. So again, my friends, I am your host, Imam Rashid Karim. My number is 372-2129. If you would like to interact with me in studio, maybe you would like to call and highlight maybe a situation that is affecting you or your family at this point in time, feel free to call us. If you have photos, you can WhatsApp it, and we can identify, we can be able to show Trinidad and Tobago the reality of what is taking place. I want to welcome those persons who are locked on and watching our TikTok. Feel free to text us. I'm going to read your TikTok messages also. And again, Trinidad and Tobago, as we begin our program, main issues that is of most relevant. Last week, I complimented the Minister of Finance. That would have been the Honorable Devendranath Tanku, when he made that bold statement claiming exactly what we were saying on this program for many moons. For the past 2 years, we have been lamenting, we have been crying, we have been playing with the government of the day. That would have been the PNM government, asking that they repeal the property tax, get rid of that property tax, because a lot of people really and truly have been having sleepless nights, and many persons have been wondering how they are going to really and truly pay the property tax. And that was something that has been dealt with, and we want to say hats off to the Minister of Finance, and that is the opening button. When I say opening button, I'm talking about promises that were made and is being kept. And this program, Hardfacts, my friends, we are going to deal with the promises that was made in the manifesto of the United National Congress, and we are going to identify some of the anomalies that was really and truly not dealt with, whether it be under the PNM government, and what is going to be dealt with at the present time on this regime, the United National Congress government. Again, we are seeing, and I'm begging you and I'm pleading with you all, those of you who have strategic positions in the United National Congress, whether you are part of the executive, whether you are part of maybe a team that was the campaign team, or maybe you are frontline members of the United National Congress, I want you all to take your time. You have to realize this, my friends, that you are in government, unlike what one of the senators mentioned, that we are in government now and it's our time. Don't go down the same road. Don't go down the same road. You have, something, when people make mistakes in our country, and we as individuals can see through that, and we can understand the mistakes that was made, and we cannot learn from those mistakes, then we are culpable, we are just as bad, we are guilty, just as those very said people. I want you all to digest that. Because you remember You remember when PNM went into office, certain elements of the party mentioned that, here what? Hey, we are in government now. And we are, we have the authority. And we have the say, the final say. So you all just remain where you are. Don't be like that. And I have been seeing, my friends, on Facebook, on social media, on TikTok. I've been seeing these things happening. You have to understand this, that you, the United National Congress, you are in government at this point in time. And you have to do everything and anything that is in your capability, that is in your power, to ensure that governance is being served to the entirety of the country of Trinidad and Tobago, unlike what we have seen in the past. And you all been saying this. You all have been saying this over and over and over. Like, for example, Shogunas West. I want to take Shogunas West as a prime example for you all. We have been lamenting here on this program, myself, my co-host, Mr. Premchand Baldev, we have been lamenting, we have been begging, we have been pleading to the relevant agencies. Many promises were made. For example, a health facility. Instead of you and I today, taxpayers' monies are being spent renting properties. There are many government buildings at this point in time that is underutilized. And I would like to draw that to the attention of those persons who are in authority when it comes to the Ministry of Health. Why it is that we are paying for buildings to house a health facility in Shogunas? We are not paying for one. We are paying for two. And when you add up, I want you all, Trinidad and Tobago, to support me on this. When you add up those two facilities and you look at the amount of rent that Trinidad and Tobago citizens have to pay for that, let me tell you something. Just lower down Shogunas, there is a big building that was earmarked for a library. I tell you something, if the government of the day, the United National Congress government of the day, would be able to spend maybe $15 million or $10 million, or even so much $20 million to really and truly renovate, rejuvenate, establish the requirements and the necessity for that to become a health facility in Shogunas, I tell you all something, we, the citizens of this country, can save money. I want the Honorable Finance Minister, Mr. Devendranath Tanku, to hear exactly what I'm saying here. The very said money that he has to find, the Ministry of Finance have to find monies to repay those persons, the individuals who have paid the property tax. I'm telling you, I'm showing you a way. I'm demonstrating to you a way where that very said monies that you all, the government of the day, is paying for the two health facility in Shogunas, health facilities in Shogunas. They could, they could establish the health center at the EMAC library, right, at the same venue. Because I tell you something, this is how monies were spent by the past government. And I want to ask a question, where in this world, in Trinidad and Tobago especially, people go to the library anymore? That's a question I want to pose. Maybe those of you who are live on TikTok, those of you who are watching me, maybe you can tell me if those monies that is being spent is irrelevant dollars and cents to really and truly rent buildings to house the library, which is on Ramsaran Street, Shogunas. And lower down, there was a library that was built by the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bissessa. It was not completed because her term came to an end, and that facility has been there abandoned for the past maybe 10 years. This is how Trinidad and Tobago citizens, we need to relive, we need to stand up, we need to come with ideas like that. You understand? The Shogunas library that is presently being utilized, that is monies that is being paid for rent. And when we look at both health facilities in Shogunas, one in Montrose, one in Ramsaran Street, millions of dollars are being paid out for rental. And I tell you something, if you add those rent, maybe in just 2 years' time, we could have our own health facility located right in central Trinidad that can be able to facilitate, health care for all those persons in the constituency of Shogunas West. So those are things that, we are going to talk about on this program, Hardfacts. Again, my friends, the hospital, that is the Kuva Children Hospital, that was earmarked by the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bissessa right? I remember there. I was there. I was there when that opening took place. Director, we have that video. We have that shot. This is the building here, right? This is the building that was earmarked for the Children's Hospital in Cuba, right? And when the PNM went in there, that was shelved and it became a COVID center and so forth. And I'm telling you all, my friends, it is very, very important now to understand this. We are seeing the past Prime Minister Stuart Young saying that, you know, there's not enough nurses to staff the Cuba Children's Hospital. I want to tell you all something. When I was moving around during the election period there, I had a lot of people who had given us resume. Doctors in our country, Trinidad and Tobago, are not working. Nurses are not working in our country, Trinidad and Tobago, at this present time. So it's not a matter of not having the nurses. It is a matter of bringing in those nurses who are unemployed and the doctors who are unemployed at this present time to facilitate and to man the Cuba General Hospital. Right? That's the opening remarks that we are making on our program here today. Firstly, if you listen carefully, we're talking about rental when it comes to health, the health sector. We're still dealing with health. We're going to deal with health. As I said on Monday program, we dealt with 3 of the most relevant issues that is affecting the citizens of this country. Number 1 would have been that draconian property tax, and we dealt with that amicable. That was shelved at this point in time. Finance Minister said that, you know, he's going to reimburse people who have paid their monies and so forth. Okay, good. All well and good. Then we saw the Honorable Barry Padarat saying and mentioning to the public, in the public domain, that no additional taxes will be added to the stress or the burden of the citizens of this country. Example, WASA increase in rental and WASA and all these, you know, TNTech and all those things. All those rates will remain at that bottom figure that is being paid at this point in time. And you and I, citizens of this country, I want you all to notice that we have been lamenting, we have been crying, we have been pleading to the past government for assistance when it comes to that. And we were saying this loudly, and a lot of people call us and said, Imam, you all, your show, you know, you all discriminating, because we came up with the idea that, you know, many of those people who have housing project, who are, you know, living in housing projects and so forth, and this is not my information, this is information that came to the public domain that we were quoting, that there are many persons who, you know, they tap in the electricity wire with those alligator cables and they are getting free electricity. And there are people who are not paying any water rate and they are utilizing. And even so much so that people who are in the housing development sector, they are not even paying their rent and nobody is going to collect anything, nobody is saying anything. And the people who are in the private sector when it comes to business, and when it comes to the private residential areas, they have to feel the brunt of the sword on a daily basis with increase of this, increase of that. And Barry mentioned this, Minister Barry mentioned this, that when they, you know, investigated, they would have realized that many of the governmental agencies and state enterprises, they were not paying their utility bills. So these are important factors when we see, my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, when we see a budget allocation of billions of dollars being allocated to the relevant ministry, we would have expected that they would have been paying all their dues and all their taxes, and even so much so paying their wages and paying contractors their monies, because those monies, whether it be 13 billion, whether it be 25 billion, whether it be $10 billion, that were allocated to the different ministries. My friends, I tell you all something very, very important. And you know something, investigation now has to be launched. It has to be launched on those agencies and make it public. Make it public, because I tell you something, for the past 10 years, PNM was in government. And I would have heard in the first 5 years, the blame would have been on the shoulders of the opposition leader at that present time, who would have been Kamala Persad-Bissessar, when she had that tenure of being the Prime Minister. For 5 years, this and this, Kamala this and Kamala this and Kamala this. Okay, We had another 5 years again, and the very said thing stretched and went across to another 5 years. Now I want to say something to you all, Trinidad and Tobago. It is very, very important that we understand we have an opposition. I can't understand this. We have an opposition, we have a government, right? We have incumbent government, we have opposition. And I can't understand that if both parties and both entities willing to work for the betterment of our country, why can't they work together? Why can't they work together? Director, just pull that small clip there. The one with the opposition. Where the opposition, where Penelope Beckles, you know, she's making claims and she's saying things like, you know, when the Whitehall, pertaining to the Whitehall and the defectiveness of Whitehall, and knowing for a fact that $32 million, Director there, $32 million was spent to refurbish Whitehall, and now we are seeing when this present government take over, we are seeing headlines like this, Whitehall unfit. And that is what Minister in the Ministry of the Office of the Prime Minister is saying. Whitehall unfit. Where was those $32 million spent? And that warrants an investigation. I can't understand. I tell you something. We don't want this just to be swept under the carpet. Just make a front page in a Guardian newspaper, an Express newspaper, a Newsday newspaper. Front page headline, so by so. And then after a month, you know, the shallow-minded people would forget it. No. This is something, come back, Director. This is something, my friends, that you and I today, we have to keep it on the front burner. Let's take a first break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into certain aspects of what is taking place in the present day with this new government, the United National Congress. Okay, so thank you very much, Director. Again, those of you who are locked on, this is your program, Hardfacts, on Sentinel Media Broadcasting. We are live on TikTok. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. And you, my friends, you have the opportunity. And those of you who are looking at the screen there, you're going to realize that there's a flicker tick, a tape that is running there with some very, 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 very good specials that is taking place presently at the Island Express General Hardware, located Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity. We have in toilet sets, just a little thing there because we have to pay bills. We have to pay bills, right? So I don't want you all to read that and see the different prices here. We have 5-gallon primer going at $269. We have doors starting at $299. We have locks for $65. We have Victory toilet set going for $499. Perlin $160. Beam $285. And all those prices have reduced. I tell you something, those things have been reduced by hundreds of dollars. So those of you who are building your home at this point in time and you would like to get, building material at a very, very reasonable price, very, very reasonable price and good material, right? No second grade material, good material, you can call the number on the screen there. So again, welcome back to our program, my friends. Those of you who are locked on, many of you are sending information here, you are sending text. I just want to let you all know that the ministers in the ministries, different ministries at this point in time, for example, we have the Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Ravi Ratiram. And I saw a bold statement there that he's stating, Director, pull that video there, pull that clip. Ravi Ratiram moves to fill 60% vacancy at the ministry. Now tell us something. You are saying Ravi Ratiram, Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, Ravi Ratiram moves to fill 60% vacancy. 60. So Minister Kazim, you had a 60% vacancy rate at that ministry, and a lot of people wanted jobs, and they were asking and seeking employment. What was the matter with that? Again, I don't know. We have to verify those things. Information coming to our desk, and those information we are seeing on the screen there. That is Ravi Ratiram and Mr. Saddam Hussein, Minister Saddam Hussein. Again, those of you who are locked on, feel free to text, call me, farmers. Farmers, you know, those of you who have been affected by the non-representation when it comes to your complaints and so forth, you are seeing the reason now. You are seeing the reason why, because we are seeing here clearly that Ravi Ratiram, the Minister of Agriculture, is saying that there was a 60% vacancy rate that was supposed to be filled but was not filled. That could be one of the reasons why many of you have not been represented when you ask for you know, different advice, whether it be claims, whether it be advice, whether it be loans in certain aspects, and so many different things. So again, Trinidad and Tobago, I want to welcome you all back to our program. Those of you having your lunch, maybe your lunch was prepared by your loving wife, by your mom, by your sister, by somebody outside there, or maybe you are having some juicy bites, or you are having some food that you purchased. I just want to ask you all to, you know, share our video, and maybe you can text, ask questions, call us at 372-2129. Director, check that line, because somebody just texted me and said they're trying to call and they're not getting through with 372-2129. That is the WhatsApp number. You can send your videos, you can send your texts, and we are going to highlight that. Pull back the video with the Whitehall again. That is concerning the repairs. And those of you who are locked on, the government of the day, that would have been the PNM government, they claim that they have spent $32 million. How much? $32 million. Right? And you know something? Come back. When you look at what is happening in our country, right? And we're talking about billions and millions, there are people in this country who, I tell you something, they could have never reached maybe close to $100,000 in their entire lifespan. And we are seeing, you know, monies are being spent like water. It is being spent like water, like, you know, it comes easy and it goes easy. And you know something? I want to say something. I want to make it abundantly clear. This government has a really tedious task. This government presently have a tedious task ahead of them. And I want to tell you all, I want to give a little advice to the government of the day. Let me tell you something. And I always tell people around me, and I always tell people who I know, right? Always try to tell people the truth. Speak the truth. You know something? I would have spoken concerning the Shogunas Borough Corporation. Many times they would not have material, they wouldn't have monies and so forth. Now, people need to know that, because you know what? When you remain silent, what happens is that people feel that you don't want to disseminate services, and you don't want to do the right thing, and you are hoarding, and you are taking care of a certain sect or a group of people, and you're not taking care of people who need. I want this government to come forward there. Now, the first thing that I saw would have been the Prime Minister asking for a report on the Treasury. That is something that I am waiting on, so that I could be able to discuss that here today. Now, I'll tell you something. When we look at the promises that was made by the PNM and promises that were made by the United National Congress in their manifesto, one of the promises that was made by the PNM, that small business and entities would have, they would have access to $50,000 US. And that is going to be dealt with on one of my programs, especially on that, because a lot of people complaining today. People reach out and they're asking, Imam, you don't have any US money to sell, and you don't have money, and you know, people will come and change money by you. Now tell us something, people in this country, right? In this country, when people come from abroad and they bring 1,000 US or 500 US, they are demanding that you pay $7.50 or $8. That's it. Because people, I saw this. Businessmen in my country, Trinidad and Tobago, they would go to the airport. There's a cambio There's a cambio in the airport, and I want to find out if that is legal. If that is legal in Trinidad and Tobago, where you can go out to the airport and purchase US dollars at an exorbitant rate of, I think, $8 or $9, $8.60 or $9. Is that legal transaction? Now, if that is legal transaction, why it is that the past government, they said that anyone found selling monies from their own monies, who people return to our country, maybe they come here for a vacation, maybe they come here to visit their families, or maybe they come here to do some renovation work in their homes or whatever, because there are a lot of people like that. They are living abroad, but they have their retirement home still in Trinidad, so they would come here, they would bring some money here, and they would want to sell it for the price that you know is marketable, which would have been $7.50 or $8, as the case may be. I would like to find out, you know, from the Ministry of Finance, if there is any, you know, review of that clause or that law, whereby people can be able to come in with a 10,000 or 5,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 or whatever is the limitation, and maybe they would change it to the private business sector, so that people in this country could be able to really and truly finance their business ventures. I want to tell you that, because a lot of things, Trinidad and Tobago, those of you are locked on, you know, those of you are locked on, some asking for $9. Thank you there. Right, so we have people really and truly responding. They are responding. That is Simki 8. Right, Simki 8 is saying that in some cases, people are asking for $9. That is the truth. That is the truth, Trinidad and Tobago. There are people who come here and they believe, you know what? They believe that, you know, our country has reached that point in close proximity to Venezuela, and they're demanding that we pay $9, $10, as the case may be. Now, I'll tell you something. When you purchase those US dollars for $9, right, and when you have to go and buy your goods, whether it be Panama, whether it be China, whether it be in any part of the world, you purchase your goods from, and you are paying that exorbitant rate for the US dollar, my friends, when you come back to sell that product in Trinidad, you know what? That product is going to be really, really expensive. You know what I've been asking, and people, a lot of people texting there, right? A lot of people texting and saying that, you know, the minister who is in charge, the minister who is in charge of, you know, those areas where people would have purchased, they would purchase via, you know, Amazon, they would purchase through Alibaba and those places, if there could be a reduction there, because, you know, the government of the day, which is United National Congress government, led by the Honorable Kamal Prasad Bissessa, she would like, I'm sure, she would like to ensure that her promises that were made via the manifesto is kept. Because I tell you something, just as how you and I today, we are watching and we are looking on with a bated breath for her to fail, for some of her promises to not manifest, so that they could be able to rip through, they would be able to rip through the United National Congress government. At this point in time, I am telling you, I am different. I would like to highlight on this program some of the good things that the United National Congress is doing, so that people would understand. Because when you look, as the director was telling me earlier, you know, we were looking through for information on the daily national media. And you know something, we're not seeing anything. You know something, Trinidad and Tobago, when you look at what is going on with the statistic of murder, the murder rate has not been reported. And these are things we are calling on Roger Alexander, the Minister of Homeland Security, to start allowing people to publish that again. Publish the amount of murder that is taking place in our country. That would have been something that people would be watching, and maybe that would have been something that could bring forward in the hearts of people that here what? Something adverse is happening, or something negative is happening, or something positive is happening in our country. So whoever made that proclamation to hide or conceal the murder rate that is supposed to be mentioned, because you would have realized, Trinidad and Tobago, and I want you all to find it, go on, find it, use your own exploratory minds. It would have been done in the past in the media houses. You would have known everything what is taking place. We would have noticed everything that is taking place in the country when it comes to murder rate. And we have not been seeing that for the past maybe 2-3 months. Now this government, a new government is there. We would like the government of the day to implement back that via the Homeland Security Network, that people would know exactly how many people are killed in our country. Because every so often you would find, I want to let Trinidad and Tobago, when you find a skeleton remain, it is not an animal, it is not a cow, it is not a donkey, it is not a horse. When you find arms and you find limbs, it's from a human being. And that clearly indicates that that was a murder that took place. And that was not identified in many, many cases via the network. They would look at fresh murders. A murder to those people in government at that time would have been somebody gets shot yesterday and they find a body behind a steering, or they find a body in a building, or they find a body somewhere in the bush. That would have been a murder rate. But when you look at what is happening in our country, there's a murder field where a lot of bodies have been identified and found after a period of time. How do you classify that? Do you not classify that as a murder? And I'll tell you something, a human being doesn't have 4 limbs, like 4 feet or 4 hands. So if you find 4 hands, that clearly indicates that it was 2 bodies. If you find 4 feet, right, you find both 4 feet, you would realize that it would have been those 2 people, 2 persons died. And that would have accelerated the murder rate in our country. But again, I don't know, and I would like to find out at this point in time, what is the murder rate in our country, Trinidad and Tobago. So my friends, those of you who are locked on again, this is your program, Hardfacts. It is on Sentinel Media Broadcasting. We are live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, starting time 12:15 in the afternoon. And again, we are willing to work with you, the citizens of this country. We are not here to bash the government. We are not here to bash the opposition, because it doesn't make sense. Trinidad and Tobago, let me tell you something. When people are making comments like this, you know, what is the opposition? Oh, we are going to watch the opposition. The opposition is going to watch the government and see what they are doing. My friends, you have to understand this, that the opposition today, they were in government for the past 10 years. Why it is that you were not watching yourselves? Why it is now you want to watch every movement? I saw on social media, or it's either one of the daily newspapers, I saw this, that a date was called by June 19. Right? The opposition would like to see problems solved by the government of the day, which is the United National Congress government. The opposition would like by June 19th. I'm talking about May, June. We're talking about in a month's time, that everything should, you know, come to normal. Everything should be, you know, correct. Everything should be positive. Like, you know, Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the government, they have a magic wand. Let me tell you something. You all took 10 years. Let's be real, huh? Let's be real. We have been attacking the opposition in the past. We have been attacking the government in the past, and we're going to continue attacking for the right reason. We didn't establish this network, right? I didn't establish this network to come here and bash anybody without logical reasons. You took a position, whether it be a government agency, whether it be a minister, or whatever position that you take, whether you are a councillor, whether you are a chairman, whether you are a mayor, whether you are a minister, whether you are a member of parliament. Those are the positions that you hold. Whether you are a permanent secretary, whether you are a police officer, you took the oath of office to serve the country, Trinidad and Tobago. And if you are not doing that, and we have relevant information at hand, that is logical and legal information, we are going to broadcast it on this network. And we are asking you, citizens of this country, we are asking you to join with me. We are not here to fight anybody. We are not here to fight the government. We are not here to fight the opposition. But at this point in time, the opposition needs to take responsibility. And I am saying that Imam Rashid Karim, you all spent $32 million. And Penelope Beckles, the opposition leader, is saying, show us the proof. And I would like the ministry that is dealing with those issues, or the agencies that is dealing with those issues, they should identify, they should highlight, they should show the abnormalities of what has transpired. Because some of those complaints were, there were moles on the wall. How can they have moles in the wall when you have just completed paying $2 million, so much abnormalities? So those of you who have information, those of you who are outside there and you have information that you would like to share, please call us at 372-2129 and let us have some discussion on what is taking place in our country. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to continue. Those of you are locked on, I am multitasking. I'm talking to people here who are watching me. I mean, people can go on YouTube right now and watch us. So those of you who are watching this program, you can subscribe to our channel. And those of you who would like us to do some ads for you, as I said before, our ads are very, very low price. You could call it free. All you need to do is pay the director and maybe technical staff to build your ads for you, and we're going to run it for you. We're going to run it for you because all I really and truly would like to do is, at least build our country and assist the government of the day in building the country. Those of you who know me, Rashid Karim, those of you who know me, I was in really and truly, I was the Central Regional Coordinator for 3 terms. Right? 3 terms. And again, being in opposition, you really can't get much thing done. But again, we tried and we tried and we tried, and it didn't work out. And now, the government of the day is in power, which is United National Congress. And we're not saying here on this program that they only have to fix the United National Congress constituencies. We're not saying that. But it's about time. It is about time that, some sort of research and investigation be done on different areas. Like, for example, Shogunas West. Shogunas West at this point in time need 4 things immediately. Number 1, they need the cremation site. The Hindu community, they need a cremation site, number 1. Number 2, there is at least 300 to 400 fishermen plying their trade from Felicity. They need to have a proper fishing depot where people can get gas at a reasonable price, and they can be able to get, accessories at a reasonable price so that they can be able to ply their trade, and they can be able to, at least bring fish and shrimp and crabs and whatever seafood that is available to the country so that they can benefit. Number 3, a health facility. We have to stop paying rent, these exorbitant rent to the private people or who is financiers or whatever you want to call them. The millions of dollars are going down the drain there, and we have in front of the Shogunas police station. I want those of you who are in government, listen. There's a big, humongous building there that was built by the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Right? That building could be utilized as a health facility. That could be utilized as a health facility. And the very said monies that we are spending, the very said monies that we are spending on rental could be able to refurbish that and be able to utilize, my friends, as a proper health facility in Shogunas. That's number 3. And number 4, very, very important, we're talking about crime. We have been talking about crime. If you have to understand that any bandit, and I want to dissect this for you all, for those of you who are not really and truly understanding, right? They're talking about counseling. A lot of things is coming out of that live TikTok there. People are asking where the counselors. That's a very good question. Where is the counselors? People are asking that. I wish you can visit and see the condition. They are asking us to come and visit. We are going to go to Miss Julie. Call the number 3722129, and I guarantee you by Saturday, that issue that you are talking about, when rain fall in muddy roads and the children cannot walk and so they can't get a school van and so forth, we're going to highlight that. If you call me and you get somebody to show us around and show us the problem, we're going to highlight that in this station here for Saturday program, free of charge. Anybody outside there need help? Anybody outside there need help? Feel free to call 3722129, and we are going to come with our camera team. We're going to identify, but I want to tell you all something. This is something that I've noticed. A lot of times we go to these places and we ask people, hey, hear what? You need to talk to us, you need to tell us what is going on. Have you seen your counselor? Have you done this? Have they come and visited with you? And you know something, Trinidad and Tobago? These very said people who call us to come and visit with them, we go there and they are shy, they are scared, they are frightened to even give an interview to tell us what is going on because they fear that they will be victimized. That is our position. I am an imam, and I tell you something. I have that very sad situation where people would complain to me about their husband or their wives, and I would say, or even so much their children. And when I say, well, here what? Let us call everybody together and let's have a mushura, or let's have a meeting together and highlight everything. No, imam, no, you can't do that. If you do that, I'm scared. Maybe my son or my daughter might beat me, or my wife might do this, or my husband might do that. This is the attitude. And if that is the attitude, then you know what? You have to suck up that problem as long as you live. Somewhere down the line, we have to draw a line. We have to draw a line and stand up for what is right, because it is the right thing to do. It might not help you at this present time, but I tell you something, people outside there who are watching, they might be able to be assisted by your intervention, by you standing up. And that is what we are all about here. This station started for that reason, and we never deviated. Maybe sometimes, because of emotions, we might say something. But I was talking about, the United National Congress. A lot of people call and congratulate me and said, Imam, we all won the election and so forth. Yes, we all won the election. But again, I was under the radar for a little period of time simply because I did not deviate. I did not go across nowhere else. I was there. I was watching the movement, because I tell you something, there are people who comes into politics and they come from nowhere. And when they realize, I want to tell you all, and if you are a victim of what I'm saying here, call me. If you are a victim, call me of exactly what I'm saying here today. There are people who have been used, they have been abused, and they have been discarded without nobody taking heed and nobody paying heed. And that is the reason why I have been calling, because there were many activists like myself who were supportive 100%. We gave our life. We gave our health, we gave our strength, we gave our sweat, we gave our blood, we gave our monies to the United National Congress. And at a certain point in time, we were taken for granted. It was not supposed to be so, but that is what transpired. And there were many people who are calling me and saying, Imam, how we not seeing you and how we not this? You are not seeing me because I feel that if I am not wanted, I should not be there. Simple as that. If you want me, all you need to say, well, hey, come. You can't go by somebody who didn't invite you. That will be encroaching. And I don't encroach on nobody's rights. So again, Trinidad and Tobago, there are many issues that I want to talk about here today. I want to continue. But I just want to touch on a very important matter. A very important matter. And I would like the relevant ministry to take heed and listen to what Imam Rashid Karim is saying here today. I want you all to listen, because maybe the other government didn't listen, because they always thought that I am UNC. They always thought I'm an activist. They always thought that I'm a fighter for UNC. Because when you look at all the photos, you look at all those public meetings, you're going to realize that I would have been one of those persons who would have been in front of the political leader. In case anybody would fire a bullet, maybe that bullet would pass through me before it hit the political leader. And that was the position I took, and that was the position I facilitated many, many, many years. But I want you all, those of you who are locked on, and who have the ears of the different ministers in the different ministries, I want to find out two things. Number one, why it is so damn hard, and I'm using the word damn because I'm very, very much upset. Why it is so damn hard to get a WASA connection? Why? You tell me. Tell me, Trinidad and Tobago. Why? And you know the reason why? I tell you something. When you look at the amount of red tape, if you want to call it, the bureaucracy that is in that form for you to get a WASA, you know something? I think that when we vote for a government, and I want Trinidad and Tobago, and I want all of you outside there, to come out and talk and use this as your platform. You don't have to pay one black cent. You don't have to pay, you don't have to compliment, you don't have to thank me, you don't have to tell me nothing. I'm telling you, you don't have to give me no praises. I don't want no praises. All praises for the Creator. But what I'm saying here today, right, any problem that you all have, and you want to identify it, you don't have to travel and come here. We're going to come to you, but I want you all, my friends, to identify truthfully. Don't lie. Maybe you saw your counselor once a month, or you saw your counselor once since the election they came into office. Those are the information that we want, so that people, we can buck them up, and we can be able to support them and let them start motivating themselves to start to work. Because you know what? They know for a fact that people are watching them. People are watching them. And you are under the scrutiny. You are under the periscope. And that is what we are doing here today. This is what this program is all about. This is what, those of you who know me, you're going to realize that I am a no-nonsense person. I am a no-nonsense person. Don't classify me with the others. I am doing what is right because it is the right thing to do. Because I know for a fact that when the time for me to leave this world, I'm going to leave this world empty-handed, just as I came in this world empty-handed. I understand that very, very long. Very, very long ago, I understand that. That's the reason why anybody who interact with me, with the very few who are always zealous, and they are, you know, people who hate you for no reason, with the exception of that group, I tell you all something, 95% who I associate with know for a fact that Imam Rashid Karim, when he says something, he facilitates it. Now I'll tell you something, why it is, right? Why it is that when you need a water connection or an electricity connection, Trinidad and Tobago, that has to stop. That bullshit have to stop. I used two words already. I used damn and I used another word there as an adjective for you all to understand how serious this is. When you need a water connection, they have to make it a little bit more easy. If people are not paying for their water, cut them off. But if there are people who genuinely want water to use, whether it was for the domestic use or whatever, make it easy for them to get a connection, because you all want revenue. When you look at the amount of water have been wasted due to leakage and pipeline bursts and all these things, my friends, the country could get a better supply. And that is something I remember in the 2010-2015 manifesto. My throat just giving me a little problem. When my co-host here, you know, say I can get a break. But Premchand Baliu, he is doing a course right now. He has taken up a job. I spoke to him earlier today, and he has taken up a job, a well-paying job though, a well-paying job, and he is doing lecturing at two different venues. One of those venues would have been a venue that he is doing classes from 1 to something, or 3 to 5, and from 5 to 7 or something like that. So hats off to Premchand Baliu, and maybe I would like to thank him for his service that he has offered this studio in the past. So my friends, again, those of you here, those of you who are alone, those of you who are watching, no access, Julie is saying this again, no access for a garbage truck to come in the street, no street light, and the road never fixed. Okay, that's not, all those things, Miss Julie, that is your acronym, that is your name there that you are using for TikTok, right? The number, watch out, we want you to keep that number, 3722129. That is the number. I want you to call me after studio and let me know what is going on so that we can come there and we can be able to assist you and those of you who have that very said problem. Right. Continuing. At this point in time, excuse, we have a caller. At this point in time, those of you who are locked on, I am asking, I'm calling on the relevant agencies, ministries, to make it easy to facilitate in one breath. Trinidad and Tobago, hear me good, eh? Hear my logic. I want you all to hear my logic. Hear my logic. I had to take off my glasses for that. Trinidad and Tobago, we have a lot of new people. Just like how you all who were going up for election, you all targeted, you all targeted the new voters. You all targeted the new voters, and whoever was your campaign managerial team, who were managing your team, you all would have analyzed that in the country, Trinidad and Tobago, maybe 10,000 persons would have crossed the age limit of 18 years so that they could be able to vote for the first time. You all understand that? Right. Now I want you all to realize that there's a homeowner, there's a first-time homeowner in this country. And I want you all to work with these people, the first-time homeowner. They don't have 10 houses. They don't have big buildings. They don't have big establishment. All they need is a residential connection. All they need is a building connection. Things like that could be expedited. And that is what we are talking about. We are talking about expediting a connection, a process whereby, look at me tell you something. My daughter, I talk about it. My daughter has to get a connection. And you know how much things she had to go for? You know how much thing? You had to get, sorry I didn't take up that list of things to get. But I'll bring it for Saturday. The amount of things you had to get, it seems as though, you're going to the American embassy to get a visa. You are living in Trinidad and Tobago, all you're asking for a first-time homeowner. My daughter doesn't have 10 house. My daughter doesn't have 10 house. She have 2 kids. And she want to get a water connection. And the amount of things, and you know something? If the other brother, the brother who have water connection, right, gave some water to that would be classified as stealing. That would be classified as stealing water. Your neighbor have electricity, right? And you know what you're doing? You're doing a building, and you ask the neighbor, hey, neighbors, I want to cut some steel, boy. You give me some current. TNTech pass and see that. You know you're getting charged for that. But the problem here is that you all who are taking responsibility, and I'm going to pong you all on the station. And it's not for me, because I don't want it for me. What I'm saying, make it easy for the first-time homeowners, so that, and as a matter of fact, make it easy for people to get a connection. It's a simple thing. Give them the connection. If they doesn't pay, then cut it off. It's a simple thing. If the people paying, like I'll give you a practical example of what transpired with me and what is going on right now with me. A certain network, right? A certain network supply me. I took a contract for my telephone and my Wi-Fi, my internet service. Lo and behold, the term expired. The contract term, I think, was 2 years that expired. Listen how dotish some of these business people are. Now, I have already paid for this month. Now, the contract is finishing now, like the 5th. The contract finishing now for the 5th. That would have been the 5th of the 5th month. Right? I have already paid for this month. But you know something? They cut off the service, saying that they're trying to reach me. Right? They're trying to reach me so that I can be able to renew the contract. This is how doted these people are. You have a bird in your hand, but you're looking to catch one that's flying. That is how stupid these people are. And that is why today my program here, my friends, I want to identify things like that. So that you, those Trinidadian people who are catching their nenen, know for a fact that you have a voice. And I'm not singing for my supper. Some of you might think that I'm singing for my supper. I'm not singing for my supper. I want you all to know that I had a contract with CPEP. I had a CPEP contract under the United National Congress. And I tell you something, when PNM went into power, The first month, they cut me off, and I didn't get paid for 6 months. I didn't get my pay for 6 months because there was an error in one of the forms. And 10 years gone and I never get it. I never get paid, and I stay quiet. I stay quiet. I didn't fight up because I tell you something, that wouldn't make me or break me. I wouldn't die. But my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, I want you all to know that you have a voice in the wilderness. You have a problem, call that number, 372-2129. And we're going to resolve all these issues because maybe it has not come to the attention of the minister in the line ministry, whether it be WASA, whether it be TNTech, whether it be whatever service that they are offering. And we are going to highlight it with your help. Those of you who are on TikTok, those of you on YouTube, identify with me and call, come to my station. Come to my station. Director, I have the clip for the stairway. The stairway to the station. Come to the station and we can have a discussion. You can do a live interview here for free. A live interview here for free. We're not taking any money. Other stations taking big money. We taking $0. All we want is irrelevant news to reach the relevant people at the relevant time so that benefit can be derived. So my friends, again, I think that I have spoken enough. There's lots and lots of information. Another important thing that I want to bring to the forefront, and those of you who are outside there, support me on this, huh? Support me on this. When you go to the banking system in our country, right? When you go to the banking system in your country, and that's the reason why I am saying this over and over and over and over, and I'm repeating myself over and over. The bank do not give you any loan. The cooperatives do not give you any loans. You know who give loans? You give yourself loans. How do you do that? Because when you go to the bank, they want to get security. And they will lend you $1 million. You have to have a property value $1.5 million. You want that $10,000, you must have a job that is securing, that you have a secured income to pay that loan. The bank do not give you no loan. That is the reason why banks do not lose. Every year, when you look at the reports, that income and gain and loss and what have you, financial reports, you will see that the banking system, whether it be Republic, Scotia, First Citizen, or whatever, you know something, they have made 250 million, 300 million, 1.5 billion, and they make money. How do they make money? Because you know why? They mama guy and they fool you and make you feel that, some people say, boy, me ain't get no loan from the bank. You know why you didn't get loan from the bank? Because you couldn't support your loan. You could not stand as security for your loan. Bank don't give loan, brother man. You want to buy a car. You want to buy a car. That car is not your car. You're driving it. You know what they want? If you buy a new car, that has to be fully comprehensive. That vehicle have to be fully comprehensive. You crash and die on the highways. You know what? The bank lost nothing. The bank loses nothing. The bank is only to gain. And that is the reason why, we are here all the time. Now, I'll tell you all something. The government of I want to give you a small schooling, a little history. The government not supposed to make profit. What the government is supposed to do is break even. Whatever profit that the government make in any of the endeavors has to go back to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that is where you and I fail to understand that. It goes back to the people, but it goes back to certain people. It's not going back to the general populace. It's not going back to the population. That's the reason why you have bad road. That is the reason why there is so much crime. That is the reason why there's so much money you have to spend when you bring in something in this country. You have to pay things. You have to pay exorbitant fee. That is the reason why there's property tax. That has been eliminated, right? Then we look at the business levy. We look at cooperative tax. We look at green fund levy. We look at VAT. All those taxes, my friends, the monies that is generated from those things supposed to be paying salaries. And you know what? Improving the condition of life for the citizens of this country. Don't get yourself wrong. And when that is not happening, you know why? It is not happening because somewhere down the line, the movements is not taking place in the correct channel. Other people are benefiting from your wealth, and we, the citizens of this country, we suffer. We suffer. So my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who are locked on, I wish you all could understand the gravity and the passion that I have for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I've been doing it. I've done it. I've done it in the past, and I'm going to continue doing it again. Anybody in this country want to help the people of this country, I am standing with you. And anybody wants to thief and rob the nation and rob the people of this country, I am not with you. I'm not going to support you. That's bottom line. So again, my friends, I want to just say a few things before I close. On behalf of Sentinel Media Broadcasting, you have the guy, the little guy who drowned, Samir Ragbir, and his family of Claxton Bay. This young man here, he went, I think, in a function, a birthday celebration at Mayaro Beach, and he succumbed to some terrible problem with the current and the water and so forth, and he drowned. And we want to express our deepest condolences to the family of Samir Ragbir of Claxton Bay. I want to say a special thank you again to Shamshuddin. That is the guy who is in charge, Shamshuddin Ayub, the guy who's spearheading the hunters and search rescue team in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to say a special salute, hats off to you all. Now, tell us something. Many people call me and tell me, right, hey, that man only looking for fame and name, you know. You know, that is all people could see. They could only see that. The man looking for fame and name. But you all don't understand. Nobody give him anything. Nobody donate any gas. Nobody donate any flashlight. Nobody donate anything for them. You find a handful, maybe a few, 5, 6 people contribute towards the search and rescue. But nobody helped them. And this is why the government of the day, I am calling on behalf of the Hunter Search and Rescue Team of Trinidad and Tobago, that they should be given a stipend. Because every time somebody lost or somebody go missing in this country, they are the first to be there and they do a good job. Right? So hats off to you all. Commander Shamshuddin Ayub, your partner Imam Rashid Karim here. I hope you could remember me. You were in the masjid for Ramadan month when one guy was of the area was missing. So hats off to you again. And my friends, those of you who are locked on, I want to say thank you all very, very much. Until Saturday, may God Almighty bless you. I had a lot of things to talk about. But basically, you know, I am just speaking on behalf of the voices of this country, Trinidad and Tobago. So I want to say again, as I close, congratulations to the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bissessa and the government ministers. I know all of them, all of those people I know. I work with them tirelessly too. But again, if you all respond to me, I don't have a problem. And you don't respond to me, I don't have a problem. But I think it's fitting that all of you people out there who are ministers now, you all know the effort and sacrifice that Imam Rashid Karim made for the United National Congress. You all should reach out. You all should reach out and at least communicate. So again, thank you all very much. May God Almighty bless Trinidad and Tobago, and may God Almighty save us from the calamities and the disasters of unforeseen circumstances. Thank you and goodbye.